Family, being the smallest unit, brings to bear the most knit relationship between individuals. While most people already into marriage aim to create stability and a peaceful environment for their wife and children, the young ones in all their struggle aim to marry and start a family. Can we draw a conclusion that family is not just the smallest unit, but the most important unit in life? If yes, one must be careful in choosing their family, especially the nuclear ones. She was raised without a father figure, and because of the numerous men in and out of her life, she was in dire need of love, and anyone who seemed to give that or showed a little interest in her, she was head over heels for that person. Show her a kind gesture like buy her tacos meal or a McDonald's burger, and she already thinks you love her pink lip or her tall stature or her irresistible charm, and this resulted in 2 children and at least 3 abortions. She couldn't give a specific number. So, she was just like a baby company. You just get in, drop it, and get out. As an entrepreneur of a hair services shop and a real estate agent on the side, she had quite the means to take care of herself, even after her flings and one-time dates never committed to a relationship or the responsibility of their actions. She had a house to her name after fulfilling her mortgage payment and a black sedan for her mobility, so she wasn't actually in any financial penury. Her daughter was doing well in school. She was indeed a beauty to behold. While in the coming years she reduced her promiscuity and susceptibility to sweet words from men, she encountered a man that changed everything in her life, for good, at least at that point, till it all went south.
A warm welcome to True Family Crime Stories. To our loyal subscribers and viewers, we're deeply thankful for your unwavering support and trust in our content. Your subscription means the world to us, and we're honored that you've chosen to join our community. We look forward to continuing to share compelling, thought-provoking, and informative content with you in the future.
Camila Alves was born in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil to her Spanish mother and Brazilian father. Her mother, Alexis, ran away from home a few months after her birth and took care of her under the roof of her grandmother. Being a single mother was tough, but as if the challenge wasn't enough for her, she got pregnant again for yet another man, but she lost the baby due to a miscarriage after being domestically abused by him. Alexis and her daughter moved from Brazil to Spain when she was just 8 years old. Camila recalled vividly that she was in the middle of a school term when they relocated, and she lost all her cool friends. She had to start over again, but that wasn't something that was difficult, because she was vibrant and jovial, lively and flippant, and she made so many friends in a short time. She started high school and in no time rose to the top in social affairs and academic elitism. She bagged so many laurels and left Shelton High School as her set valedictorian. She didn't have issues with getting into college, and after many offers, she settled on none. She wanted no more of Spain. It was part of her life, but she was ready to move forward for good. In a few months, she was about to be an adult, so she discussed it with her mom. As a young adult with a thirst for exploration and adventure, she had grown tired of the familiar surroundings of Spanish restaurants, beaches, culture, and even the people. Her spontaneous nature led her to crave a change of scenery, and after discussing her feelings with her mom, she began making plans to move abroad. Although her mom was skeptical about the decision, she was resolute in her choice to pursue higher education in the United States. After a year and a half, she had successfully achieved her goal and was now ready for the next chapter in her life. Coming to the United States was a significant milestone in her journey, and she savored the moment, feeling a sense of accomplishment and excitement for the new experiences that lay ahead. Initially, she stayed with a friend from Shelton High who had also relocated to the U.S., and life was treating her well. Camila and August, who had been acquaintances in their AP Science class, had become close friends during their time at the university. Arizona, with its relaxed atmosphere, new faces, and endless discoveries, had captivated Camila. However, her life was about to take a dramatic turn with the arrival of Shawn, someone who would soon create tension in her friendship with August. Shawn was a 21-year-old university student known for his rugged charm and good looks. As a native of the U.S., he lived with his parents and had a restless spirit, always seeking new adventures. His true passions lay with his rock band, where he played the guitar and shared a strong bond with his band members. One day, while grabbing lunch, Shawn accidentally bumped into Camila, and in that instant, he was drawn to her. He found her attractive and decided to make a move, trying to win her over on the spot. Camila, too, was impressed by Shawn's confident demeanor and striking appearance, and she responded positively to his advances. As they spent more time together, flirting and getting to know each other, their connection grew stronger. Before long, they had developed an intense physical attraction, and their relationship became intimate. August had cautioned Camila about Shawn, and although she didn't have any specific reasons to distrust him, she felt that he wasn't the right person for Camila to be involved with. Initially, Camila dismissed August's concerns, thinking that her friend was just being jealous. However, as time went on, Camila found herself in a difficult situation due to Shawn's actions. He had accumulated a significant debt with some unsavory individuals, and they began to pursue Camila, demanding that she produce Shawn. She noticed suspicious men with beards and tattoos following her, and using her quick thinking, she managed to evade them. Despite this, she felt uneasy and confronted Shawn about the situation. In an attempt to temporarily alleviate the problem, she helped pay off some of the debt. But Shawn's behavior didn't change, and he continued to accumulate more debt. Eventually, he was forced to flee town and abandon his studies. Camila had no intention of leaving with him, but during one of their intimate encounters, Shawn had removed his protection without her knowledge. 4 weeks after he had left, Camila discovered that she was pregnant, leaving her to deal with the consequences of Shawn's reckless behavior. Due to the advanced stage of her pregnancy, Camila was unable to terminate it and was forced to carry the baby to term. As a result, she had to put her education on hold and focus on raising her daughter, Isabella. In an effort to start anew and provide a better life for her child, Camila relocated to Virginia. However, her new life was not without its challenges. She struggled to make ends meet and had to juggle multiple jobs to ensure that she could provide for Isabella's needs and maintain custody of her child. The threat of child protection services intervening and potentially taking Isabella away from her was a constant concern, and Camila worked tirelessly to prove that she was a capable and responsible parent. Despite the difficulties she faced, Camila was determined to create a stable and loving home for her daughter. As Camila navigated the challenges of single motherhood, she encountered a series of men who claimed to have romantic interests in her, but ultimately exploited and objectified her. There was Isaac, who she thought was her soulmate, but their relationship fizzled out after just a month. Then there was Amir, who promised to introduce her to his family in Kuwait, but lost interest when he discovered she was a single mother. Despite her beauty and charm, Camila found herself repeatedly disappointed and vulnerable to men who didn't genuinely care for her. As the cycle of brief relationships and broken promises continued, Camila grew disillusioned with the idea of love and decided to take matters into her own hands. She began to use her pregnancies as leverage, blackmailing her former partners for financial support. Over the course of a year, she collected enough money to finally pursue her long-held dream of starting her own hair business. With her newfound financial independence, Camila was determined to take control of her life and create a better future for herself and her daughter, Isabella. To escape the reality and harassment from those she blackmailed and duped, she moved to a new environment void of negative memories and wrong decisions. She moved to Houston. It was a big place and with a lot of people, where her dream might finally become a reality. 4 years had passed since Camila had last been involved with men, and in that time she had transformed into a successful businesswoman. Now 24, her primary focus was on providing the best possible life for her daughter, Isabella. She was determined to give Isabella the education and opportunities that she had never had, and to protect her from the struggles and heartaches that she had faced. Camila had never told Shawn about their child, and August was also unaware of her whereabouts. To spare Isabella the truth, Camila had told her that her father had died in a car accident before she was born. With a new life in Houston, Camila was starting fresh once again. As a single mother, she was fully invested in Isabella's life, attending school meetings, helping with homework, and being present for all of her daughter's activities. It was a challenging but rewarding experience. During one of these school meetings, Camila met Mr. Horus, a financial data analyst at a bank in Houston. He was a divorced father with a daughter in the same class as Isabella, and his ex-wife had abandoned both him and their child. Mr. Horus was undeniably handsome, with a tall, athletic build and a rich, chocolate-brown complexion. Camila, who had been without a man in her life for 4 years, couldn't help but feel a physical attraction to him. However, she was determined to resist her feelings, having been hurt by handsome men in the past. She constrained herself, focusing on her priorities as a mother and businesswoman, and refusing to let her emotions get the better of her. He noticed her because, who wouldn't, she was beautiful and charming, but that wasn't what drew his attention. It was the fact that she was too young to be a mother of a child that age. So, he approached her and they spoke, but she refused to show any interest or excitement during and after the conversation. But instead of that to drive him away, he was even more interested to know more about her. But Camila wasn't ready for any of that, so she told herself. She pretended to be busy whenever he wanted to hang out or help with something. Horus had tried, but perhaps it wasn't meant to be, so he started drawing away slowly. But Horus's daughter, Kira, had started to notice Isabella, and soon they became pretty close. They chatted after school, and while Camila didn't want a friendship between them, she didn't have a reason to restrain Isabella from talking to her. And so their bond grew stronger and stronger till they started hanging out at each other's houses. So whatever Camila ran away from, she had to face it. In one of the occasions where Kira visited Isabella's place, Horus catches her off guard with a sublime kiss, which she shakes off at first, but loved it more after he left her residence. They both admitted that it was a mistake of the moment, so they shrugged it off, and Horus had to promise Camila that it would never happen again. He helped her in her real estate deals, and they worked together for most of the time after the kiss. But they couldn't hold what they felt for each other for a long time, so they both gave in. 2 weeks after, Horus wanted to spend more time with her and, without thinking much, proposed to her. She wasn't actually expecting such a gesture, at least not at that point in time, but she had to make an on-spot decision. He was a kind, loving, caring, and understanding man, more or less a father. He was matured and ticked most of the boxes, but there was only one thing she needed to know more of: his past relationship. What had happened? What made such a nice man divorce his wife? And what made her want nothing to do with him, his daughter, and his family? The diamond ring on her finger meant a lot to her. She caressed for so long and kept smiling at him throughout their journey back home, but those questions lingered throughout the whole journey. She tried to suppress her inner thoughts, but it had the best of her, and so she asked the question, and he was bewildered. She didn't just want to know about his past. She wanted to meet her, and that wasn't good news for one who just proposed to the love of his life. Not that he had anything to hide, but they had lost contact with each other, and 2 years was pretty much long, so he had no way of communicating with her. He told her what he had said before, but added she cheated on him and rather left him. It was strange because he was the one who was supposed to be angry, but after trying to put back his broken relationship and she clearly stated she didn't want him, He had to leave her alone. He didn't have much to corroborate his story, except from the fact that his brother also knew the story and was a witness to what happened. She decided to meet his family, and that meant hearing from his brother as well. She was a bit nervous, but he told her not to worry. He explained that his family loved Latin girls and that she had nothing to worry about. She begged him to pick a dress, and she came for dinner in a black flowing gown which was exquisite and fitted her perfectly. She had a bad feeling, but she was also nervous, so she shook it off. Horus apologized for the absence of his brother and solicited that she should be patient and would soon join them. And in a split second, he had arrived. What were the odds? How was this possible? Was she not really meant to have a man of her own? What was Shawn doing here with a decent haircut and a briefcase? She couldn't believe her eyes, but it was real. He waved at her and took his seat. Did Shawn not notice her? Did he suddenly develop amnesia? She wasn't someone to say he had forgotten about or had no memory of and needed to be reminded. Or did she look any different? They dated for over 8 months. How wouldn't he recognize her? She managed to get through the dinner and asked to use the bathroom, while there was still chatting and drinking going on. While she was still pondering on the shock of what she had just witnessed, she was dragged by an unknown hand into a dark room. Her mouth was covered, and her scream didn't get anywhere. Guess who? Your guess is right, it was Shawn. He apologized for leaving and claimed he still loved her. He professed his love for her, stating he looked for her in her house after paying the debt he owed. He even went as far as paying August to get in touch with her, but she was nowhere to be found. He tried to convince her that he was a changed man who was working and making good money for himself. As much as she hated the fact that he ran away, she still had a soft spot for him because he was her first love. He planted a kiss on her cheek and gave her his card to contact him. She collected the card and bade him farewell with mixed feelings. She refused to tell him about the child, and they went on a couple of dates. She was getting more attached to him, but in a month, she was about to marry his brother. There was a lot of disparity between the two men, and she demanded to know why they didn't look alike or have the same skin color. Horus revealed Shawn was his half-brother and was away for some time. Shawn got real deep with Camila despite a marriage ceremony with his brother, and she was beginning to think she was making the wrong decision. She was in a dilemma, and in the battle of fighting the urge to stay with Shawn, she was losing woefully. Shawn, on the other hand, was starting to get suspicious after hanging out with Isabella as an uncle. He saw so much resemblance in himself when he looked at her, and although her story was credible, he just wasn't buying it. So he went to confront her about it, but ended up doing what he had always wanted to do the moment he laid his eyes on her again. They got intimate, but she regretted her actions immediately after. But regrets don't necessarily mean that we would abstain from our actions. So even after regretting her actions, she still was intimate with him, even up to the eve of her marriage. So, the next day she said her vows, but also regretted it, because obviously she was now in love with Shawn and not Horus, but she was ready to risk it all. And even on her wedding night, she still found a way to Shawn's bed. After 3 months of shuffling back and forth, she decided to come clean to Horus and tell him the history she had with Shawn. While this was a good idea when dealing with concepts regarding true happiness and peace of mind and correcting the past, it wouldn't be great advice to give to a cheating woman. Moreover, she never informed Shawn of this development. She believed he loved her and would kick against it if she ever brought up, so she was going to do it no matter what. She set up a meeting with Horus, but suddenly had cold feet. She had to bring up something less significant, of which Horus bought totally. Her conscience was judging her that Shawn didn't know she had a child with him, so she decided to tell him. After the shocking revelation, she still goes further to let him know that she's pregnant with his child, but that she could put it on Horus. Although she was intimate with both brothers, she was sure it was Shawn's. Shawn was still staggering from the shock. In the moment, he needed a drink. He went to get a cup of water, but as he was returning to the room, he heard Camila confessing about their secret relationship to Horus. Horus didn't take it well and became furious. He threw things around, smashed vases and pictures around, but ensured he threw nothing towards her. Shawn came in to pacify him, and that's when he reported what Camila had done to him. Camila was shocked that he did that, but noticed that Shawn wasn't afraid, nor was he nervous. Instead, they were laughing. She was in utter confusion, as she didn't get what was funny. She later realized that Shawn was the father of Kira, and that since he was impotent, he made a pact with Shawn. A wife and 2 children would give Horus his father's inheritance, which was held in trust till the clause of his father's instruction was fulfilled. It was the same thing Horus's ex went through, and that was why she left. It was all a plan, but Shawn confessed it was hard for him, because he had known her before, and she already had Isabella for him. Horus was in shock with the news that Isabella's father was Shawn. Camila was not only in shock, but she was embittered. She now had 2 children for the same man and was used by both brothers who toyed with her emotions. She felt bad, useless, and broke down. For days, she didn't want to see anyone and resented both of them. And while she was in pain, they were partying and getting ready to enjoy their father's inheritance. She usually thought about everything, but at this point in time, she was enraged, and her impulsive thought had the best of her. Just listening to them laughing and chatting happily made her sick in her stomach. She went to a firearms store, got a shotgun, and came back home. While they were asleep, she put 2 bullets into Horus's head, 2 in Shawn's belly, a bullet to Kira, another to Isabella, and lastly, one to her unborn baby. But she bled too much, but before pulling the trigger, she dialed 911. When they arrived, it was too late. Everyone was gone. After proper investigation, the police found out the twist and entanglement of both brothers on Camila, and after piecing everything together, they got the full story. Pamela, Horus's ex, had a lot to say that exposed the scheme of both brothers. She had said in a final interview, "They played with her emotions, and they got what they deserved. However, I feel bad for Kira and Isabella. They shouldn't have gone through this. She just did it because the pain was too much. No woman will abandon or take the life of her daughter for any reason. It was indeed a tragic incident." The brothers were buried beside their father, and Horus's mom wept bitterly. She refused to make any comment while Camila and her daughter were laid to rest in a local cemetery since no one came for them. And just like that, we are left with the haunting reality of how a family, meant to be a place of love and security, can become the breeding ground for manipulation, deceit, and heartbreak. Camilla's story serves as a tragic reminder of the devastating effects of betrayal and how the ties that bind can sometimes strangle the soul. It's a heartbreaking journey, one where emotions, lies, and the search for love collided in a catastrophic way, leaving destruction in its wake. No one should have to endure the kind of pain Camila went through. But as we've learned, even the smallest choices can have the most profound and devastating consequences.
If this story struck a chord with you, don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts below. We value your voice and encourage meaningful conversations about these dark yet real topics. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel to keep up with more chilling true crime stories, be sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss an unsettling twist or an untold tale. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, always cherish the bonds you hold dear, because you never know when they might be tested in ways you could never imagine. Stay safe, stay alert, and we'll see you next time.